The Curse of Blackwald. Chapter 1. Before the Howl. The rain had a way of making Gilneas seem eternal. It washed the soot from the cobblestones of Gilneas city, drummed softly upon slate rooftops, and rolled in silver sheets across the cliffs overlooking the sea. The kingdom was a place built upon pride, its towering walls keeping the troubles of the outside world at bay. To its people, there was comfort in believing those walls could hold back anything. Anything except fate. Edric Ashcombe first saw Eleanor Hawthorne beneath a black umbrella outside the Cathedral of the Holy Light. She wasn't praying, she was arguing. The children need bread more than another marble statue, she told the elderly priest with surprising boldness. The priest sighed. Lady Hawthorne, charity requires coin. And faith requires compassion. Edric nearly laughed aloud. Most nobles in Gilneas spoke with polished elegance while hiding cold hearts beneath expensive coats. Eleanor, daughter of Lord Hawthorne of Blackwald Manor, possessed neither restraint nor fear. She turned suddenly, noticing the young man watching. "And what are you smiling at?" Edric removed his cap. "My apologies, my lady. I asked a question. I was simply wondering if you argued with every priest in the kingdom." Her emerald eyes narrowed. "Only the wrong ones." That was how it began. Edric was no noble. His father had been a carpenter before the scourge wars across the sea disrupted trade. Now the Ashcombe family repaired wagons, built furniture, and struggled through increasingly difficult winters. He expected never to see Eleanor again. Instead, 3 days later, she arrived at his workshop carrying a broken wooden music box. "My father says, you're the finest craftsman in Blackwald." Edric examined the delicate mechanism. "The finest? Hardly. The least arrogant, then." "I'll accept that." She smiled. It was a smile that reached her eyes. The music box belonged to Eleanor's late mother. Inside stood 2 tiny dancers carved from oak. One wore the armor of an old Gilnean knight, the other wore a flowing dress. Every time the box opened, they danced together beneath tiny carved stars, while a gentle melody played. "The spring snapped," Edric said. "Can you repair it?" "I can make it better." She raised an eyebrow. "Better than my mother remembered." "No." He smiled softly. "But perhaps better than either of us deserves." Over the following months, she found more and more reasons to visit. A chair with a loose leg, a cracked jewelry box, a window latch that had somehow become impossible to close. Each excuse thinner than the last. Edric knew, she knew he knew, neither spoke of it. Instead, they wandered the forests surrounding Blackwald. They read old poems beneath ancient oaks. She teased him for refusing to dance. He teased her for losing every game of chess. "You cheat," she insisted. "You simply refuse to think 3 moves ahead." "I prefer surprises." "So do wolves." She laughed. Neither realized how prophetic those words would become. Autumn arrived, dressed in crimson leaves. Edric finally gathered the courage. They stood atop the cliffs overlooking the Greymane Wall as waves crashed far below. "Eleanor." She looked toward him. "I have nothing." "I know." "I own no estate." "I know." "I cannot offer jewels." "I know." "My hands are rough." "I noticed." "My future is uncertain." She stepped closer. "So is everyone's." Edric swallowed. "I love you." The wind carried the words away toward the sea. For one terrible heartbeat, she said nothing. Then she reached into her coat and removed the repaired music box. "I've carried this every day since you fixed it." She opened it. The tiny dancers spun together. "I hoped you'd eventually become brave enough to say it." He laughed in relief. "You already knew." "I've known since you pretended to overcharge me by 2 silver. I gave the money back." "Only because you blushed." She kissed him before he could answer. The rain began again. Neither cared. Winter came early. With it came rumors. Hunters vanished in the woods. Livestock were found torn apart, not eaten. Entire patrols returned pale-faced, speaking of impossible beasts that walked upon 2 legs. King Gen Greymane dismissed the stories as panic. Most people agreed. Edric tried to, but old Bram, the village trapper, refused. They aren't wolves, the old man whispered over mugs of bitter ale. They stand like men. Too much drink, someone replied. I've hunted these forests for 40 years. Bram's weathered hands trembled. They have glowing eyes. Silence settled over the tavern. Then nervous laughter. Someone changed the subject. No one wanted to believe him. A week before Winter Vale, Eleanor convinced Edric to sneak into Blackwald Manor's ballroom. My father is away, which means we'll both be thrown out if we're caught. Only if we are caught. Candles illuminated polished wooden floors. An orchestra was absent. Only silence remained. She curtsied dramatically. May I have this dance? We have no music. She smiled and opened the music box. Its delicate melody echoed through the enormous hall. They danced alone, slowly, clumsily, perfectly. Outside, snow began to fall, far beyond the manor, deep within the Blackwald. Something answered the night, a howl, not the cry of a wolf, not the voice of any creature known to Azeroth. It was the sound of a soul breaking beneath unbearable rage. The music box stopped. Edric and Eleanor froze. Another howl came, closer, longer, hungrier. Neither knew that this single sound marked the beginning of the end, not only for Gilneas, but for the life they had dreamed of building together. The curse had found Blackwald, and it was coming for them.